Mr. Speaker, my question is to the Minister for Economic Development. What specific actions has he taken since becoming Minister of Economic Development to secure the New Zealand film industry?
The Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr. Speaker, I've undertaken a number of activities to secure the future of the film industry. I've been looking closely at the capacity constraints that will hold back the expansion of the industry in New Zealand. I've examined closely the commercial motivations for the major studios to bring productions to New Zealand. My most important specific action was recently bringing the Screen Directors and Producers Association and New Zealand Actors Equity to the table to begin discussions about improvements and updates to the Pink Book. That's something that has not happened since the Australian Union showed up in 2006.
The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Will he accept the congratulations of the Labour opposition for the work he did at that meeting on the 14th of October, which all those present agreed sorted out all industrial relations issues in relation to the Hobbit live at that time?
The Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr. Speaker, at that meeting I made it very clear to participants that we were not there to discuss the Hobbit, nor to negotiate contracts for the Hobbit. While some there insisted on mentioning the Hobbit, it was not part of the discussions. What I would want to say also is that there is a difficulty here in so much as the moment the ban put on the work or the work order, the ban on work on this film was put in place by the FIA at the behest of the Media and Entertainment Arts Alliance of Australia, this film was in some trouble. Mr. Speaker, I think it is totally wrong to characterise that meeting in this way, although it was clearly, since it was the first meeting for 4 years, some progress.
The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Will he accept the congratulations of the opposition for the very good work that he did at that meeting, bringing the parties together?
The Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Well, Mr. Speaker, in so much as the parties agreed to accept an invitation, that is as far as it goes.
The Honourable Trevor Mallard. Order, I've called the Honourable Trevor Mallard.
On how many occasions has he visited Warner Brothers or New Line Cinema executives in the last 2 years?
The Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr. Speaker, I've had discussions with New Line and Warner Brothers, but I don't want to discuss matters that were in those conversations while we're at a delicate point. What I might say is that the previous government's approach to having lavish dinners and other such functions in Los Angeles would have done nothing.
Order. The question was nothing to do with what the previous government's done. The question was simply on how many occasions had the minister talked to, visited with, and I think what the previous government might have done is not relevant to that question. Point of order, the Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Well, if the member's going to say how many times he's visited, then I'll sit down.
The Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
As I said, I've had conversations with New Line and Warner Brothers. I have not visited them. I've also not had $140,000 dinners described as the hungy and hooey approach by Tim Morrison.
The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Supplementary question. What adjustments has he made to the large budget Screen Productions grant scheme as a result of those phone discussions with Warner Brothers or New Line Cinema over the last 2 years?
The Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr. Speaker, there's been no need to make those adjustments. The concern in this case is about the industrial relations situation that arose out of this extraordinary resolution passed by the FIA, instigated by the Australian Union and presented as an ultimatum to the producers of this film.
The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
If the Minister says that there is no need to adjust the grant, can he give an undertaking to this House that the grant will not be adjusted over the next 12 months?
The Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr. Speaker, I think what we need to do is get through the discussions that are going to take place today and see what it will take to see this production remain in New Zealand.
Supplementary question.
The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
So how much is the government prepared to pay by way of extra grant this afternoon?
The Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Well, Mr. Speaker, Yeah, I don't want to use the words that some of my colleagues are using about the Labor Party, because I think it's been very good that they've actually kept out of this argument. Mr Mallard has himself posted on his blog site a statement about how difficult these things are, with the additional help that it could all be sorted out with a cocktail party. We don't think that's the case. We will have discussions this afternoon, and out of those there will be decision points for both the producers and the government.
The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
What action, other than facilitating the 14th of October meeting and 2 telephone calls, has he taken to secure the Hobbit in New Zealand over the last month?
The Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, until the issue arose, that is the threat that was put to the producers by way of the Don't Work ban issued by the Australian Union, backed by the CTU, there was no need for the Minister to be involved in this.
Point of order, the Honourable Trevor Mallard. Order. Point of order has been called.
Mr Speaker, it was using your advice, a simple and direct question as to what action, other than 2 phone calls and facilitating a meeting, the Minister has taken to secure the Hobbit in New Zealand over the last month. Sir, I don't think that question was addressed. One might infer none, but sir, I think that would be unreasonable.
Order, the member shouldn't, but the member is quite correct. The Minister did answer the question, and the member can take out of it what he likes. He can pursue it with further supplementaries. But I believe the Minister did answer the question. Question number 4, Katrina Shanks.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. To the Minister of Housing, what reports has he...
Order, I say to both members, please, I've called Katrina Shanks and I expect some respect to be shown to her. Katrina Shanks.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. To the Minister of Housing, what reports has he received about the stakeholder engagement carried out by the Housing Shareholders Advisory Group?
The Honourable Phil Heatley.
Mr Speaker, on Sunday I made public the results of engagement carried out by a housing